All right, what's going on, everybody? My name's Lula. We're having a discussion today with my good friend Ryan Reynolds out there in Colorado. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing great, Deuce. How are you?
Could be better. I feel like you could be doing better too. I mean, just speaking as a fan, right?
I could be, man. If my Cowboys would have completed that comeback, I could be.
Could be. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into. Listen, we're going to talk about two things today, guys. We're going to talk about both of our teams. So we're going to talk about that Ravens Cowboys game last night. We're going to talk about that Colts Bears game last afternoon or yesterday afternoon. So we're going to start with the Cowboys, right? Ryan, you've been a Cowboys fan your whole life. Dak Prescott's been your quarterback for 8 years. Jerry Jones has been the owner even before you were conceived. What is your opinion on the current Dallas Cowboys locker room, general management, owner? Go ahead.
I think the team's a mess overall. I mean, you look at Podcast Parsons over there, he's worried about his podcast and BR Gridiron, other things off the field. He's arguing with DeMarcus Lawrence, a known leader in the Cowboys locker room. CeeDee Lamb, last year in the playoffs, he's crying on the sidelines after the game. He's talking about how he needs to mature, become a leader. We started losing a couple games early on. Same thing. He's crying. He gets benched as the Cowboys come back. I mean, it's not a good look. You get benched and the Cowboys finally score. I mean, if you look at it, he was averaging less than the league average in yards separation in that Ravens game. So it's not like he was open and Dak Prescott wasn't targeting him. He was getting locked up. I hate to admit it, but he was. And it all starts with the head of the team, Jerry Jones, man. I've had enough with that guy.
Well, let me jump in. So, what is this specifically? Are you talking about his personnel decisions? Because a lot of people say that the Cowboys do a really good job drafting, which you got to say they do. Maybe not in the last couple of years, but they do a good job drafting. Are you just saying the culture that he invokes on the team, or just the way he moves? What's your problem with Jerry?
The culture, his personnel moves, his interviews, everything. He cares about the Cowboys being more of a business at this stage in his life than a competing football team. You look at it after the game, he gets asked, do you regret not signing Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry, of course, goes for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns in Dallas, where he lives in the offseason. Pretty much admitted on the Pivot podcast that he would have came to Dallas if we had talked to him.
Tom
Jerry says,
Brady. Tom Brady was saying that in the
yeah,
game last night. Yeah,
yeah. Jerry says we couldn't afford him. Right now, I think we have like 30 million in cap space.
really.
So, if you would have re-signed Dak and CD earlier, you got more money to allocate towards Derrick Henry instead of trotting out Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and don't get me started on Ezekiel Elliott, man.
Hey,
Now
hey,
he's wearing
Zeke.
now he's wearing now he's wearing number 15 to sell a few more jerseys. He's back. The clown Cowboys fans are hype. Oh, we got Zeke back. He's been washed for 5+ years. And I
Yeah.
love the guy. I love Zeke, but he's just beyond washed.
Well, this is kind of an irrelevant point, but he does look better than he did last year, at least. That's what I will say. He looked a little,
Have you watched him these last 2 games?
uh,
I think that Browns game fooled everybody.
yeah, he probably did.
He's
But
averaging like 3 yards a carry. He's got like 60 yards. He's on pace for 370 yards.
that's pretty bad. That's pretty fucking shitty. But I will say, all right, Ryan, me and you, we have argued for the better part of a decade now, right? Serious arguments from the lunch table to the group chat to Miss Dean's class group chat again in college, and now we're on Zoom. Even though we're not arguing, listen, we argue a lot, guys. Right? Me and Ryan, we go back and forth, but it's all love. But my problem with the Cowboys, especially the last few years, is I know that Jerry's a big part of the problem, but I also have a bit of a problem with Dak, the offense, and how it always feels the same. Going into this game, and you guys can see my last video when I was talking about the eggs, about the Ravens Cowboys. Why is it, Ryan, that the Cowboys always start so slow? And Ryan knows, I'm sure it's like a broken record. They always start slow as fuck, and they just wait till the second half. I mean, this game they didn't score a touchdown to the fourth quarter. What is the problem in the offense with the offense in your eyes?
I think most teams come out with a pre-planned scheduled drive to get them started, and I don't think we do that. We just throw shit at the wall and hope it works. This game against the Ravens, we accept the ball, we try to get it. We win the toss, we accept. We try to put pressure on them, get some points. No, just penalties, penalties, penalties. I mean, under Mike McCarthy, I think we've led the league or been at least top five every single year of his tenure as the Cowboys coach. We're just an undisciplined team. We're soft. Jason Garrett, our former coach, he came out yesterday, said, secrets out. The league knows the Cowboys are soft. And I think that O-line, soft. Dak, I think he's always been a second half guy. I mean, I can't explain why he starts slow, but it also, I think this year we set him up for failure a little bit with no run game at all. I mean, Rico Dowdle is maybe the only guy that deserves to be on an NFL roster. If we cut Ezekiel Elliott and Deuce Vaughn right now, nobody's picking them up.
Yeah, that's true. No one's picking up Deuce Vaughn. That's for sure.
That's another problem with the Cowboys. Deuce Vaughn's dad's a scout on the team, so he gets drafted.
Yeah,
They
that's
get to post they get to post their cute little Instagram video. They're not a serious football team. They do not care about winning.
okay. Yep. But how do you feel about Dak's contract? I don't want to be all about. I listen. I love attacking Dak. I'm not a Dak believer. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a top 10 quarterback, barely. But I don't think. I just think Dak. Just something about him. I just in a big game, I feel like he just doesn't show up until the damage is already done. Do you think Dak was deservingly given that contract, or were the Cowboys in a bad place and they just had to give it to him?
I think a little bit of both. Obviously, Dak is 31 now. He's only got two playoff wins. I mean, Baker Mayfield's got the same amount of playoff wins. I mean, but the way I look at it is, if we don't re-sign Dak, we let him walk. What do we do? Jerry Jones doesn't want to be at the beginning of the draft every year guessing on QBs. He knows he's going to get at least 10 wins every year with Dak Prescott. Classic Jerry Jones move. He waits all off season so everybody can talk about it. Dak signs the morning of the first game. They
Yeah,
probably had that contract agreed to months ago.
that was actually crazy. The morning of the game,
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
unbelievable to steal the headline. Just it's crazy.
and as far as the big game, he hasn't shown up all the time. Rookie year, you used to be very critical of it. He did do a lot of his comeback at the end, but we did come back and it was a tie ball game, and Aaron Rodgers did what Aaron Rodgers does to the Cowboys. I'm
Yeah,
not going to knock him for that one.
yeah.
Then, beats the Seahawks, average playoff win, I'll say. Russell Wilson was trending towards the end of his prime. Then we lose to the Rams. Did he play great? No, but he played well enough to win. And I'm going to blame the defense on that one. We let CJ Anderson and Todd Gurley both for rush for over 100 each.
Yeah.
49ers games,
The
they just own us.
first one in Jerry World, 23 to
First one at home against Jimmy G, that was tough.
slow,
I mean,
slow.
it was a close ball game, but
Well,
obviously not enough
listen, it
done.
was close, and this is where we've had arguments before. But if you're down 23 to 7 into the fourth quarter, like you're the home team. You cannot put yourself in that position. Why are the Cowboys always in the same position? The Packers game last year, they're in a bad position. Who you guys lose to the year before the Packers? Was it the
The,
Niners again?
the Niners again with Purdy at San Fran that year.
Nothing.
I think one of the biggest issues of the Cowboys' shortcomings is their star players don't show up in big games, not just Dak. I
Mike.
mean, you've mentioned podcast Parsons last year. I mean, no pressures. I mean, no sacks in the playoffs. Trayvon Diggs, I don't know if you remember, George Kittle had that bobbling catch in the playoffs. Diggs whiffs, misses them. Big catch changes the game. CD last year against the Packers, he's on the sideline crying. They're just weak mentally and as a team overall, man. Like the big time players just all around. It's not just Dak.
It's not just that. All right, that's fair. Now let's transition. Enough Cowboys talk. Let's talk about my team because we're having issues as well. The Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson, he has yet to complete more than 50% of his passes in any game. He's completed 50% exactly in two games, 47%. I think week two against the Packers, maybe week one, doesn't matter. Um, what are your thoughts on Anthony Richardson? I'm going to go after you, but what are your honest, raw thoughts? You see any way that he could be a starting caliber quarterback, or was I just dead wrong and just being biased? What do you think?
I mean, I'm very critical in our group chat, probably a little more. I mean, he is young, still what the youngest starting QB in the league. But I just don't see it with the inaccuracy and like it's bad. The bad misses repeatedly. Yeah, week one he can make the 65-yard bomb to Alec Pearson. Like, oh my God, why can't he do that every play? It's just he's very inconsistent. I just don't think that. I mean, since college he showed it. I mean, he struggled. He couldn't beat out Emory Jones in college, and I think he was only a top five pick just due to his physical traits, not his skill at all. Yeah, he can run. He's big, but I mean, even Cam Newton, who he gets compared to, like Cam Newton was definitely more accurate than Anthony Richardson is at this point. And I mean, you said back in the day you couldn't teach accuracy. I think we both know,
Yeah.
looking back, yeah, your accuracy can improve, but I just don't see it, man. Like once you start making those types of bonehead interceptions like he did in the red zone on like the 5-yard line yesterday, that's just when you know like it's in his head. He's just not a good decision maker. I don't know. I mean, there's a chance, but it's not looking good.
Here's what I'll say. I want to talk about the interceptions first. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. So don't take this as like a good like I'm trying to find goodness in AR throwing picks. But if we go pick by pick, right, and we'll do it quickly. First pick, first game. That's the only one where I really give him a pass. The receiver slipped. I don't care what nobody says. Receiver slipped. Same thing happened to Dak against the Saints. The receiver slipped. Sometimes you can't do anything about it. Week two, the first pick, horrible overthrow, but he made the right read, just terrible throw, which I don't know. I don't know if I should feel good or bad about that. The second pick, horrible read. That's just a bad pick, kind of like Caleb Williams' pick on the sideline against Jalen Jones. Third pick, Hail Mary. It is what it is. The two picks yesterday. Again, the first pick on the 1 yard line. Do I like the decision? No. I think that if he actually got it off and it didn't get tipped, it's going out of bounds or it's going to be back to the end zone, possible touchdown. I don't think that's getting picked though. Now, does he need to be smarter with someone coming up on his face? Yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid. Let's just be honest. But and then we go to that second pick yesterday. Again, same thing. The Green Bay pick, the first pick, bad overthrow, wide open man. So most of these picks that I'm looking at least three of them, it's just either receiver slip or horrible overthrow, but he's making the right read. Now, you referenced this earlier. I did say that you can't teach accuracy. I've been trying to go back on that, but it looks like I was right from back then, and I'm wrong changing my mind these last few months because some of the overthrows. I mean, Greg Cosell, a guy I really like. I don't know if you know Greg Cosell. He breaks down NFL film. He's really good at it. He's on the show with Colin Coward. I know you don't like Colin, but he Greg Cosell's great. He's different from Colin. Greg Cosell's all about the facts, and he was going about as harsh on AR as I've ever seen anyone go on any type of starting quarterback. I mean, missing high school throws. He doesn't see the field. This that. Listen, I want to stay optimistic because I think that you got to give, and this is another thing that I took from Colin Cowherd. I take a lot of things from Colin and some of these other guys that I really enjoy watching. He says you got to give a quarterback until about their second year around Thanksgiving. You know what they are, and that's something I really believe. I think that's a great measuring stick. Now, AR's situation is a little different because he didn't really play a whole lot his first year, but to me, I was thinking about this today at work. We got to give him until at least Thanksgiving until I really form a strong opinion. If he's still playing like shit and he can't even get to 60% completion percentage with Shane Steichen, I mean, everyone knows what I think about Shane Steichen. If he can't do it with Shane, he can't do it in the NFL. He's got the line, he's got the weapons, he's got the running back. The defense is shit, but that has nothing to do with AR turning it over and not being able to complete passes. So I think I'm still going to be optimistic. I think with his character, with his work ethic, I really do think AR can become a good to great quarterback. But I'm not going to sit here and fucking lie to you guys. I'm not blind. It's fucking bad. It's pretty bad. It's about as bad as I've ever seen any quarterback in the NFL. I'm holding out hope. I know it's going to be a journey, but I'll say honestly, if we're in late November and it's the same type of statistics, it doesn't matter to me if we're winning or losing games. I don't care if we're thick in the playoff race or if, hell, we're even top in the division at that point, even though it's basically impossible. But if we do somehow do that, it's not going to matter because, I've been consistent with one thing. If your quarterback's not good enough, you're not winning games. And if he can't beat the best guys in the AFC or the NFC for your case, it's never going to happen. The AFC is too stacked. If AR looks like a disaster the whole season, I wouldn't be mad if they just scrapped it by the end of this year and look for next year, try to get a quarterback because we cannot waste time. I think we have a nice young team. AR to me, he just he has to be at least decent or barely below average to get the starting job next season. If he doesn't at least do that, I don't want him on the team. I love the guy. I love his character. I love the coaching staff. But if I have to choose between Shane and AR, listen, I believe in Shane way more than I believe in AR. I think Shane's amazing. So hopefully we get it done. I said we would only take a couple minutes talking about the Colts, and here I am ranting for like 3 minutes. You have anything you want to add on to that?
I mean, I think that's the first time you've actually been honest about AR. I mean, it hasn't looked pretty, and I don't know if they'll give up on him as quick as you're thinking. They got a lot invested in him. They have an offensive mind QB or coach, sorry, and they've had this rotating QB carousel for, I mean, what, 6 years now? I don't know if they're just gonna kick him to the curb like that, but yeah, if it doesn't get better quick,
I interrupt. I'm sorry. I hate that I just talked for so long and I'm not letting you talk. But to me in the NFL, you got to rip the band-aid off fast. Arizona, Josh Rosen. They knew that nigga was a, excuse my language. They knew he was a bum. They knew he was a bum. They had the number one pick. They took Kyler. They're happy about that. I feel like teams that wait and are conservative are the teams that suffer more. And instead of making changes, I know we've had a quarterback carousel. AR had the whole last season. I don't care that he didn't play. He was at least with Shane the whole off season, the whole season. I know you got to play. That's how it is with everything in life. You don't get better at anything until you do it. Maybe that's why I should be doing more videos because I want to get better at it, right? Instead of just talking about it or watching other people do videos. I know AR was just watching Minshew play, but he should at least have a grasp of the offense. I think he does, but how can you be this inaccurate? That's my issue with him. But go ahead and finish what you were saying. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think the one of the things that's the most concerning with AR is that the Colts do have all around good enough offense in place for him. You see a lot of these early pick guys, they're set up for failure. Like Bryce Young, I mean, I say that he's set up for failure. What do you give him Adam Thielen as his receiver, no running back. You trade for Deontay Johnson, who cares? The guy's a bum. AR, you look, he's got a good O line, he's got a great running back, and he's got solid enough receivers where he should be able to make some plays. And I think Steichen, I think he could make things a little bit more simple for AR, get a little more play action going, lean on the run more. You got a great running back. You paid him, use him,
Yeah.
get a little play action, roll him out, let AR use his legs more. I don't know. I feel like he's
Thank
been a little
you.
passive with his
Thank
legs
you.
this year.
Why
He's
is
not
he not running?
he's
What?
not a pocket passer. They need to roll him out, little dump offs to the tight end, something. Just get him going early where he feels comfortable, not where he has to make these crossfield throws and then, that's when it gets inaccurate.
I could not agree more. That's one thing I'm so confused about. I watched listen, AR yesterday, I don't want him running like that because he was lowering his shoulder and running. He abused Kevin Byard multiple times. Literally at least 3 or 4 times. He abused him, just trucked right over him. Nothing the guy can do. He's a DB. No DB in the NFL really wants to mess with AR. Maybe Jalen Ramsey, but you're gonna get ran over. I mean,
Yeah, I mean the
just
guy's
don't
6'5".
yeah, and I don't want him to take those hits, but on the runs to outside, I was watching Lamar against you guys, and I'm like, I know AR is not as quick as Lamar, not as fast, but I mean, behind Lamar and Kyler, it's him, it's AR, maybe Josh Allen, whoever you want to say, but I just don't know why there aren't more design runs. I don't know why I like quarterbacks that stay in the pocket, like your regular traditional pocket quarterback or a good thrower, but a guy like AR who's so young, he's got to escape the pocket more. More. It can definitely make guys miss. Man, I don't know if he's good at sliding yet. He probably isn't because he got injured so many damn times. I'm happy he's been healthy, knock on wood. But I cannot. I mean, he's only ran the ball 4 or 5 times a game the last 3 games. Why? He should be at least 8 or 9 times. That's a big issue I've had with Steichen. I'm still a huge believer in Steichen. Maybe he's trying to avoid all the injury risk, but gotta run a yard more. Got to, got to.
I agree.
All right. Well, the video's already pretty long already. We're almost at 20 minutes, so I think we're gonna end it there. Thank you everyone for watching who is still watching. We appreciate you guys. I want to do more collab videos. Ryan's one of my good friends. I'm very glad to have him on. Hopefully, we can talk more. I'll bring other people on, maybe like Nick, Jamari, my other friends, Josh, whoever it is. And talk football, man, because football's the best. Great sport. Love to watch it. Hopefully, the Colts and the Cowboys can get this fixed. Um, it's going to be a tough. It looks like it's going to be a tough season. Probably both of us. I mean, who do you guys got next week anyway?
We got the Giants on Thursday night.
You worried about neighbors?
Neighbors might get his, but I expect us to blow them out, get the casual Cowboys fans hyped up. We're going to score 40 probably.
Yeah.
And then same thing, we play San Fran in a couple weeks and we'll just get dominated and everyone will be back to normal.
How do you feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers coming into Indianapolis this Sunday? How do you feel about that game?
I think the Steelers defense is definitely going to give AR some troubles. I think opposite side, I think you guys could give Fields a little bit of trouble. It definitely would have helped if Buckner was healthy. But their Steelers O line is struggling. You know, you could see Latu maybe make a play or two. Kwity Paye, not sure where he's been this season,
Injured.
but
Injured. He got injured.
injured. Okay. Has he been out the whole year?
No, he got injured at the end of last game. So did Kenny Moore. Dallas Flowers too. So yeah, it's it's bad. I don't even know why I'm laughing. It's bad. It's an issue. I mean, I can't believe. I don't even want to blame like people sometimes just blame like the medical staff. I used to do that shit, but I can't even do that anymore. Like I cannot believe it's. I guess it's just unlucky. Like I mean, I don't even like Kenny Moore, honestly. And you know how I feel. I used to like Kenny Moore a lot. You remember 2018, 2019? I liked him.
Yeah. Top slot guy in the league is what you said.
You say that all the time, but since 2021 or 2020, he just gets abused. I mean, you got trust him guarding Nico Collins? No, I
I
don't.
mean, he's probably going to be on what, Tank Dell next time they play the Texans?
I mean, we got Pickens coming to the dome. We got to put Jalen Jones on him. Listen, I love Jalen Jones. I was telling y'all about Jalen Jones. He was going to be our starting corner opposite of Brent. He played kind of well at the end of last season, so I had hope. He had 2 interceptions. That's all nice. He doesn't stand a fucking chance against George Pickens on the outside. He's going to get cooked. All right. So listen, it's a concern. I just hope the pass rush is there on Sunday. That's all I can hope for. But with that, guys, thank you for watching again. Uh, like, comment, subscribe, comment video suggestions. I'm open to whatever and anything that has to do with NFL, NBA, college, whatever. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Ryan, say bye to the fam.
Goose, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Like, comment, and subscribe.
that's a fact. We're gonna take it to the top, baby. Actually, L's down. Fuck that shit. All right, I'll see y'all.